Good evening, sugar. Woo, man, I was so motivated, so inspired by that motivational video this evening. I don't know who that message was for. I know it motivated me. I hope it inspired you. But I hope that you realize out of everything that we've been talking about throughout the 52 weeks up until this point has been that you have to change your mindset and believe, right? So I want to know from all of you, do you believe? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe? Can you see yourself at the end of the 52 weeks sitting on that beach with all of us earning a 6, 7, possible 8-figure income? I hope you believe, because I believe in me, and I definitely believe in you. So as you know, we don't take losses here. We simply are here to learn lessons. And I hope you guys take away that message. And as I start all of our calls with our daily affirmation, I am so thankful and grateful now that I have patience and discipline so that I am a master trader. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Lopez. For those of you who don't know me, I am one of the creators of the Milwaukee Sauce Strategy, and I am your honored educator for this evening. I want to welcome you all to the Harmonic Scanner 52 Weeks to Freedom Call, class number 11. Congratulations if you made it thus far and you started out with class 1. I want to congratulate you all, and for everyone that has come aboard as we've been moving forward, congratulate yourselves as well, because this is definitely a difficult journey. This is something that we are testing. This is the first time that this has ever been done, guys. We are actually making history, you and I together here tonight and for the next remaining weeks of the 52 weeks. And as we get us there, as you all know, just for formalities, I am not a financial advisor. I am not here to professionally give you advice as to how to invest your money in the foreign exchange markets or any other financial market. I am simply here to share with you the information that I have learned through the IML Academy, along with some other resources. And I, along with the other amazing leaders, have put together this syllabus of information to share with you, because we all collectively know that these topics are the things that you need to know in order to be a master trader. All right, so let's get this evening started. All right, guys, I'm going to need some help because I have a lot of information that I'm going to be trying to get through this evening. So I need somebody to keep an eye on time so I don't go over, because we know Orrin is on tonight. Do I have any volunteers?
I'll keep up with the time for you.
All right, just let me know when we get around 7:45 so that if I'm still far along in the lesson, then I know where we need to pick up from for next week.
Okay.
All right, cool. All right, so just for formalities, I need to know, was there anybody that's on this call this evening that was on last week's pop-up call? All right, cool. So this should be mind-blowing. Has anybody on the call seen the recording of last week's call? All right, cool. That's even better. All right, so check this out. We're going to review EURNZD because I took a look at that pair last week, and actually I've been taking a look at it for the last couple of weeks. If you've been keeping up with me and you've been watching the videos as we go along, I called a signal in EURNZD which did exactly what I said it was going to do. Last week, we reviewed that signal. And then I forecasted what EURNZD was going to do this week. So what I want to do now is go back and take a look at that stuff so you can see where exactly I am. And since it looks like no one on the call knows what it is that I'm talking about as far as the signals and the alerts that I was calling during the calls, we're going to get right to it. All right, so let me check this out. We are going to share my screen. All right, now, can everybody see YouTube on my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. I want to show y'all something. Now, this is last week's class. Everybody sees it. Harmonic Scanner 52 Weeks to Freedom Class 10 pop-up call, right? Which was done on Friday. So now watch what happens. 76. Does someone have that number?
Yes.
All right. Hold on now. I'm going to go to my calculator. Everyone can see my calculator?
I can see it.
All right, give me the high.
1.70559.
0559 minus. And so everyone knows what's
The
happening.
low is
We're calculating the ATR
1.68276.
for the week. 276 for last week. 228.3 pips. Does everyone see that? So now we know that this week that just closed today, EURNCD gave out how many pips?
228.3.
There you go. So 228 pips to the downside. Does everyone see that?
Yeah.
And if you notice, the candle before it was to the downside. So the only thing that has me with some concern is that this 50 is right here where the candles have come together. Does everyone see that?
I can see it.
Yes.
So on the weekly chart, because that's what we're looking at right now, we need EURNZD to break and close the 50 so that we can continue to the downside. And when it does, we should see the MACD kiss and cross below the zero line. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes.
So that's on the weekly chart. And we know by calculating our ATR that EURNZD typically, I can't guarantee it, but typically based on the last 9 weeks now, it typically gives out about 250 pips every week in any one direction. Because it's either going to go up or it's going to go down on the weekly chart. Everyone sees that, right?
Right.
Yes.
So when the market opens up, that next candle should be a red candle pushing to the downside.
The downside. Yep.
And it will confirm the sell once all of your confirmations have lined up. The red is on top. It's broken below the 50. It remains under the street. And the MACD has now crossed where the red is on top. and it will continue a stronger sell once it breaks the 0 line. Does everyone see that?
Yep.
Yes.
And on Wednesday's class, I'll try and remember to come back and take a look and see what EURNZD has done up until that point, from Sunday to Wednesday. And then we'll be able to see how many pips it has given out over the course of those few days. All right, now everybody's seen that, right? We're gonna go back to, let's exit our full screen. Go back to EURNZD, right? And if you're looking at this with me, EURNZD on the weekly chart, this candle where my crosshairs is right now is in fact this week's candle, is it not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it is. Yes.
So in fact, on Friday, because I was taking a look at the weekly chart using the tools and techniques that we've been learning up until this point, the ATR, the Milwaukee sauce, and using them all together, I was able to accurately predict before the candle even formed that this week's candle was going to sell. Does everyone agree with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you remember Friday night, I think it was about an hour after I had the class, I posted a screenshot in the various study groups showing that the new candle had popped up in the market, even though the market was technically closed. Does everyone remember that?
Yes.
All right. So the question is, how many pips up until this point since Sunday has EURNZD given out to the downside? Does anyone know?
No, ma'am.
Would you guys like to calculate it together?
Let's do it, coach.
All right, somebody's gonna have to record the numbers for me.
Gotcha.
All right, here goes the high. The high for July 15th, 2019, the week of, is 1.69681. And the low is 1.66432.
Okay.
All right, hold on, let me get my calculator. Here we go. All right, y'all see my calculator?
Yes.
All right, what's the number?
The high is 1.69681.
681 minus
1.66432.
432.
Yes.
That's 324.9 pips that EURNZD has given to the downside since Sunday. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
And we all know, if you've been calculating your ATR with me, that EURNZD typically, I can't guarantee it, But typically, based on the number of weeks that we have data for, it typically gives out about 250, 255 pips in a week. Can we all agree to that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So, if you would have been on the pop-up call and you would have anticipated that when the market opened back up on Sunday, that EUR-NZD, or you would have been watching this thing, that you could have started looking for an entry on a lower time frame, like the 4 hour, the 1 hour, right? And look for an entry. Look for the sauce to set up on a smaller time frame and get in, and you would have known that you had the potential to ride EUR-NZD for 250, 55 pips to the downside, because we already knew it was going to the downside for the entire week. Does everyone understand that?
Repeat that one more time.
Gotcha.
So, we knew on Friday that when the market opened up on Sunday, EUR-NZD was going to continue to sell. And it was going to sell for the entire week, because we were looking at the Milwaukee sauce setup on the week. And because we know based on the ATR that EUR-NZD typically gives out 250 pips in a week in any one direction, once we had our entry, if we used proper risk management, patience, and discipline, you could have rolled that entire trade, that one trade, from Sunday until today and been up 300 and some pips. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
And if we're paying attention, we're just now breaking the 50 on the weekly chart. Everyone sees that. We also know that we're clearly out of the streets on the RSI, and the MACD has now kissed. Does everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes.
We also know that because EUR-NZD has already given out more pips than it typically does, it could potentially consolidate for the rest of the week, because it's done giving out what it typically does. Now, I'm not saying that it won't continue to the downside for the remainder of this week, but it might experience some pullback in order to prepare itself to continue to the downside for next week. Does everyone see how I'm analyzing the setup to come with that analysis?
Yeah, coach, that's heavy. Yes.
So if we're paying attention to EUR-NZD, which we started off 2 weeks ago with an alert that happened on TradingView, which we took it over to the harmonic scanner, confirmed the signal on multiple time frames, entered the trade on the 15-minute, rolled the trade potentially from Wednesday to Friday on an uptrend. And then EUR-NZD turned around and sold all of last week. It sold all of this week, and it's potentially going to sell all of next week as well. Does everyone understand that? Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
This is the way you should be looking at your pairs. It doesn't matter which pair you're looking at. It doesn't matter which pair you've decided to focus in on. It's going to apply to anything. It's going to apply to Forex. It's going to apply to crypto. It's going to apply to minerals. It's going to apply to stocks, indices. It does not matter, guys. If you master these strategies, these techniques, utilize the tools, and apply the information that we have available to us, it's going to be mind-blowing where you will be once you conquer the only thing left, which is your mindset. All right. So everybody understands what they should be looking for and the process that they should be moving through in order to make long-term trades, swing trades. Can you see how we're going from a scalper's mentality into a swing trader, or from an intraday trader into a swing trader? And it's going to be very important for you to decide what type of trader you are. No one can tell you what that is or what that looks like for you, where your level of confidence and comfortability comes from. That's a personal journey that you're going to have to conquer on your own. We can only help you along the way through motivation and support, and by giving you the information and tools and techniques that have made so many of the traders amongst the team and the leaders so successful. That's the reason why we want to share it, because you all know that this is a blessing. We're here to share the information with everyone we come in contact with, so that it can not only do something to bless our lives, but to bless the lives of others. All right, so do we have any questions about where this works or how we're looking at this before I move on and add some more value and information to what we already have?
Hey, I got a question, Coach. Can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead.
So basically, for anybody that missed that information, so we should go back to that class that you posted and learn how to and set all this up from that information moving forward.
I would suggest, this is class 11, so that has to have been like class 9, I want to say, when we first started looking at EURNZD, and it just organically happened, guys. We were on the call, an alert came in, and we just started looking at the scanner, setting it up, and just start with that class. And each class, I've been focusing on this pair because of that, building the process so I can show you over the course of time how to apply these techniques. Because I know when I'm giving them to you week by week, you're not really seeing how the bigger picture is going to give us that mural that I talked about in the beginning. Remember, I told you I was going to give you a piece here, and it was going to be like us zooming in on a section. And then I was going to give you another piece here. It's like building blocks, like Legos. And it isn't until you start forming that foundation and the creativity starts coming together, where you actually are putting the puzzle pieces together, that you can actually see what the end result is going to be. If that answered your questions. I know I can get deep sometimes. I go in sometimes. I just pass inside.
Well, the only reason I was asking is because I just recently came in here, so I wanted to make sure that whatever this EURNZD that you were speaking of, that I can go back and find whatever that class is and listen to that and set that up as well.
Yes. All of the videos are being shared. They're being shared as we go along. So if you're coming in fresh, you'll get to it. So don't feel like you're lost. But ask your study groups. If somebody has them, they can share them in the study groups. You know, it's just I'm on a schedule as to how I'm able to share them in the main group, if that makes sense.
That's cool. I got you. That's no problem. That's cool.
But yes, I would suggest everyone, as you're going along, whether you're just starting out or if you've been going through this journey with me along the way, go back to those previous classes if you got questions, because I realize that we only have an hour together, guys. And this is a lot of information. Oh, see, we got an alert. And that's USD JPY on the 15-minute. The 3 and the 10 is crossing. I'm not going to look at it. You guys are free to look at it because I got too much information we got to cover. All right. So, but yes, my suggestion is go back and always review those videos if you have questions. And then lean on and leverage, keyword leverage, your support groups, because the vets in the group have been in this thing a lot longer. And so they've mastered certain techniques, so you'll be able to utilize their strengths.
10-4. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. All right, guys. It's about 7:30, so I'm going to just start moving along because I want to keep us right on track of things. All right. Give me 1 second. Boom. All right. Last week, we started talking about volume. We started talking about how it, the market is manipulated, and that it's volume that we can use as a tool to actually help us recognize when there are outside factors that are manipulating the market and moving it in any one particular direction, whether it be up, whether it be down, whether it consolidate, right? And the way that we do that, or one way that we do that, is we take a look at volume price analysis, okay? And that's the relationship between volume and price over the entire life of the candle. So we're looking at volume, which is a new topic that we introduced last week. We're also taking a look at price and time, which is what we've been talking about up until this point for all of the previous weeks, right? Now, Richard Wyckoff is the founding father of volume price analysis. The reason that it's important to understand or know who this individual is because it is his laws that actually teach us, show us how to interpret the market and how to utilize volume to help us be confident, help us to be emotionless, help us to make sound, rational decisions, because we can predict the market by forecasting what potentially could happen because we are doing our own technical analysis, right? And so he believed that we should never trust the experts. Don't trust all of these sites that are telling you, one way or the other, that the market is going to move, that you should actually be doing your own technical analysis, that you shouldn't just solely take a signal, that you should actually analyze the signal, make sure that it meets all of the criteria based on your trading plan and your trading rules. And then once you've done that, if everything aligns correctly, then and only then do you take the trade. And so Wyckoff is actually famous for 3 basic laws. And it's funny because these laws are laws that I'm pretty sure most of us are familiar with, or at least I was familiar with some of them, but I wasn't familiar with the fact that he was the one that created them and that they actually apply to trading and the market in general. And as I said, these principles can be applied to any market. It's universal. And so I'm going to go over each one of these laws so that you can understand how to use them and apply them to your analysis when you are marking up charts, when you're doing your technical analysis, when there are situations that happen that manipulate the market, that you're wondering to yourself, what just happened here? What is going on? These are going to start to answer some of those questions for you, because like I said, there's some of those hidden unknown factors that we don't seem to talk about or realize as these been happening, or we do know it's happening, but we don't understand why. And so I'm hoping tonight I can share some information or some insight as to what that is all about. All right, so Wyckoff, his first basic law is the law of supply and demand. Has anyone ever heard of the law of supply and demand?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's basic economics in high school.
Right.
Yep.
So we know that when demand is greater than supply, then prices will rise. And we know that when supply is greater than demand, then prices will fall. And we see that every day in the market with everyday products. We see them go on sale all the time, right? It's because of the supply and demand is changing in the market for that particular product, right? It's that same ideology, that same theory that can be applied to the Forex market, because we're looking at supply and demand, and I'm going to show you how. If you think about supply and demand in this way, demand is our buyers, and we know that the base represents our buyers, and we know that supply represents our sellers, which represents our quote. So if demand is stronger than our supply or greater than our supply, then prices will rise, which we will see the market will buy. And if demand or our buyers are smaller, weaker, less than our supply or our sellers, or the sellers are greater than the demand, then prices are going to fall and we will see the market sell. Does everyone understand that?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, I want to make sure everybody gets it, because like I said, this building blocks, and you should start to see the aha moments as you start thinking back to how you were analyzing your charts, looking at how the market has been moving, the trends, the patterns, right, in the market, how that happens, how that works, how it affects each other. And as you start to understand and realize these laws, then you'll understand how the market works and you'll be a more effective trader. All right, his second law is the law of cause and effect. Does everyone know what the law of cause and effect is? Or have you heard of it?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So in order to have an effect, you must first have a cause. Something has to happen in order to get the effect. And the effect will be in direct proportion to the cause. They will be similar. So in other words, a small amount of volume activity will only result in a small amount of price action, and vice versa. And I'm going to show you what I mean. When we're talking about the law of cause and effect and we're looking at the market, we're not concerning ourselves at that particular moment with the direction of the trend. We're not concerning ourselves with whether it's going up or going down. What we're concerning ourselves with is whether or not there is a lot of volume, and if there is, then there should be a lot of price action. The price should move considerably because of the volume in the market, right? And vice versa. If there's only a little bit of volume, then there should only be a little bit of price action. And if you think about how the market works, you'll notice when there's only small amount of sellers or small amount of buyers in the market in any particular zone, the candles, the volume in the candle will be small. But if you notice, if there is a lot of volume, then the price action will move considerably. Does everyone understand that?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
All right, that's why I made it yellow, because it don't matter when we're talking about cause and effect. We're just saying if volume is great, if it's a lot of volume, then there should be a lot of price action. And if there's a little bit of volume, then there should just be a little bit of price action. All right? All right. And then the third basic law that he is known and famous for is the law of effort versus result. Does everyone on the call or anyone on the call has been made aware of or know or recognize or understand what the law of effort versus result is?
Yes.
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 And I tried to
I'm not
touch
familiar
on a
with this.
little bit of that in that motivational video that I started this evening's class with, right? So we know based on this third law that every action must have an equal and opposite reaction. So in other words, the price action on the chart must reflect the volume action below. So when we start looking at volume on the charts, they have to actually reflect each other, right? So the two should always be in harmony with one another. With the effort, which is the volume, and it should be seen in the result, which is the consequential price action. And what I mean by that is this. If there are more buyers, if there is more buyers, now this is where I'm talking color. It could be green, it could be blue, but we know blue buy, right? Red sell. So we know that if there are more buyers, the volume for buyers, right? Then there should also be a result that we see in the market that shows us that the market is buying. And if there is more sellers, then we should see through price that the market should sell. So volume is seen in price action. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Yes, ma'am.
So if we understand all three rules, and if we ever should see that one of these rules have been violated, then we know that we have just had an aha moment where the market is telling us that it is currently being manipulated by outside forces that is typically out of control, that the market doesn't have control over, if that makes sense. So it's not normal. Does everyone understand that?
Yes, yes.
So when we start to look at how to actually view volume on the charts, which is what I'm going to lead us into next week, I'm going to pull this all together and show you how we can use volume to validate. Because if you remember in last week's class, I said we're using volume to validate and forecast price action, because according to Charles Dow.
Hey, Jackie, we 45 after.
Good job. I'm right on track. So if we do that, we understand these things and we apply them, then when situations like the news happen, and then we don't get the reaction that we thought we were going to get, but it forces a reaction from us as traders, because we're anticipating the news, right? To shift the market, manipulate the market in one direction or the other. Are you guys starting to, is the wheels turning? Is the aha moments happening for you? Are you seeing how there is some outside force? It's almost like the Matrix. If you get into sci-fi movies, there is an outside force that is out there that has the potential to manipulate the markets in any one direction based on what their need is at any given time. Does everyone understand that?
Yes.
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 And once you become aware of it and you recognize that it's happening, then you can anticipate it, you can plan for it, and you can protect yourself from it so that you don't make mistakes as a retail trader and you transform and transition into a master professional trader. This is how the professional traders are trading. It's because they are aware of all of these factors and they're able to put them together, apply them correctly, use patience and discipline, accept losses because we have to fail forward. Nothing is 100%. We will never be able to guarantee every trade. You won't, I won't, no educator will. The only thing we can do is learn as much as we can about how the market works, why it works that way, and apply it so that we are prepared and we ultimately become profitable. All right, so next steps. I want you guys study volume. I hope you screenshotted that stuff while I had it up there. If you didn't, I'll be sharing the video. Once I have it processed, uploaded to my YouTube page, I'll share it in the groups. I'll also try and go back and screenshot some of the stuff that I think you guys should be aware of or have access to if someone else hasn't done it. If you have it, place it in the study group, share it. Each one teach one. Start paying attention to the anomalies in the market, how it's moving, why it's moving that way, the price action. Watch for the trends and the patterns, support and resistance, supply and demand, right? Study the assigned pairs. Keep practicing the Milwaukee sauce. Follow your trading plan. Look for your setups. Share them in your study groups so that we can start mastering each one of the pairs. There's 28 valid currency pairs. And we're only studying 20 of them. So there's more than enough to go around. There's enough setups to go around. And if each pair is giving out 100+ pips in a week, there's more pips to go around. And as you start mastering these things and you start trading multiple pairs because you're applying the information that you're learning here, now you're basket trading, the sky's the limit as to how much wealth and potential is available to you at a $5.3 trillion a day industry. And that don't even include crypto. It don't even include stocks. It don't even include the indexes. Come on, y'all. I hope y'all seeing the value that we giving each and every week throughout the 52 weeks. Man, y'all got to start sharing information in the study groups. This is a family. Y'all need to support one another. If you got questions, ask them. If it's something you don't understand, get confirmation. That's what we're here for. We only got an hour together. I only have an hour with you guys. I would love to do all the one-on-ones, but unfortunately, I just can't. And as we move on to the next strategy, because guess what, guys? Next week is the last week with me. The Milwaukee sauce is done. Our 90 days together is over. And I will be passing the baton over to the next strategy. And guys, when y'all see the strategy that we have in store for you, and you start to realize and understand how all of the stuff that I've taught you over this last 12, it will be 12 weeks together, how you can apply it and have that aha moment, man, guys, I'm so excited. Y'all just don't know. If y'all ain't excited, I know I'm excited. So I'm hoping that y'all gonna stay plugged into your study groups. Definitely stay plugged into the Harmonic Scanner Telegram group.
Hey, Coach, I got a question.
Yep, go ahead.
You said now next week is the last week for you. Now, what about those of us who just recently got started? So we haven't completed that full 90 days yet.
Yep, what'll happen is we'll be sharing the rest of the videos that I have, and then what will happen is the next educator will pick up with the next strategy, and I'm working on trying to figure out whether or not we're gonna have a separate group or study group so that we can keep practicing the Milwaukee sauce throughout the remainder of the 52 weeks. I don't know how that's gonna all work yet, guys, and that's just because, like I said, this is our first time running through this. So we're trying to make it as effective and efficient as we possibly can, and as these situations come up, then we come up with strategies and we come up with a way to make it so that we can continue to keep adding people in, continue to give you value, and continue to give you the support you need as we learn the new strategies, as we continue to practice the previous strategies. Hope that makes sense.
Yeah, because I haven't, I'm still, learning this strategy. So now we're about to start another strategy. So when someone comes in possibly in another week or so, when you're no longer teaching the Milwaukee sauce, then they're not going to understand any of the Milwaukee sauce because they're going to be in a new strategy.
Which is the reason why we're trying to figure out whether or not we're going to keep a group to keep practicing the Milwaukee sauce as we're still learning the other strategy. Because as you remember, the 52 weeks, we're learning one strategy for 90 days, then we're adding the second strategy the next 90 days, and then we're adding a third strategy, and then we'll add the fourth strategy. So over the course of 52 weeks, we're actually going to learn a total of 4 strategies. However, as you start to see, as I said, this is building blocks. So even though you're coming in and it seems like you're late, you're right on time. And you'll see what I mean when we introduce the next strategy, because you already have some of the information available to you that's going to give you insight as to what he's talking about when he teaches you the next strategy, if that makes sense.
Okay, I'm with it. Let's roll.
Be confident. I'm confident. Don't worry, shoot. I got you. I got you. Leave no man behind. I got y'all. If y'all need help, like I said, definitely say something in the study groups. I try and monitor them so that I can keep abreast of what's going on in case you guys do need help. Like I said, you do have the leverage of the vets in the team, which is going to help you, give you the support that you need. But as I said, even if you're watching 2 classes in the same week because you're coming in and we're still moving at a rapid rate, don't feel like you're getting left behind, because it's going to make sense, because one week is constantly building on the next. All right, guys, it is 7:56 or 8:56, depending on where you're at. It might even be 5:56, I think, on the West Coast. So, man, love y'all. See y'all next week. See y'all on Orange Call. Stay plugged in. Catch them signals in the harmonic scanner telegram group, and study. Do your homework and believe in yourself. Stay confident. You're going to get there. It's going to come. Just think, look at me, guys. I started this thing last February 2018. 2018, February, I'm teaching y'all. Come on now, stop playing. Chad said he's going to change your life in 52 weeks. Proof is in the pudding, y'all.
Let's get it, coach.
All right,
appreciate
y'all. See y'all next week.
All right, appreciate you.
Next week.